many of you here have a dream? A dream in danger of dying? Because you're telling yourself, it's too late. Too late to go back to school. Too late to start a new career. Too late to learn a foreign language. Tonight, after you hear my story, hopefully you'll believe it's never too late. I started my career at the age of 36 because I started my family at the age of 21. My son was born after my junior year in college. Once, in a room full of women talking about family and career, someone exclaimed, "You did it backwards." At the age of 36, we were living in Hong Kong. At that point, we had been in Asia for 13 years. My daughter was born in Malaysia. I was living the leisure life of an expat wife. I maintained a full social calendar. In Asia in those days, the social life was important to a man's position. I was active in volunteer work. I played tennis, had lunch with the girls, and enjoyed shopping therapy. From the outside looking in, I was living the ideal life. But on the inside, I felt an emptiness. I longed to do more with my life. One day, I heard myself crying out, "I can't do this for the rest of my life." But what could I do? Here I was, 36, and I never had a full-time job. I was confused and scared. Scared I wouldn't be taken seriously, that people would look at me and say, "She's been a housewife all these years." I didn't know where to start. Finally, I decided I would give banking a try. I had majored in economics, even graduated with honors from writing. I remember the interview. He was a middle-aged, mid-level bank manager. He had lots of questions. Then, he asked the question that was burning on his mind. "Dinah, you're living the ideal life. Why do you want a job?" You don't understand. To me, it's not just a job. It's the start of my career. Hooray! I got the job. It's never too late. At last, I was getting started. I had a lot of catching up to do. Over the next 2 years, I had 2 bosses, 2 positions, and 2 promotions. Amazing what you can do when you're willing to do twice the work. When I went in to see my boss to tell him I was leaving the bank and getting my MBA, he said, "Dinah, why spend all that money on an MBA? In 2 years, you could be a second vice president." It was too painful to tell him I was getting a divorce, and I felt an MBA would help me get a fresh start. Fast forward 20 years. I've been with half a dozen companies, high-tech startups, Fortune 500. I was totally 200% focused on climbing the corporate ladder. At times, in between jobs, I thought, no one's ever going to hire me. More than once, I was down on the mat. And I remembered the little girl who escaped on the last boat out of Shanghai. And I said to myself, "Dinah, get up. You have to get up before the count of 10. At long last, in my mind, I finally broke the glass ceiling when I became a corporate vice president, international business development for Fortune 500. I did what I had to do. I got my MBA from Columbia. I broke the glass ceiling. Now what? I heard a voice whisper, Dinah, it's time to follow a different dream. A dream that comes from your heart. I was standing in my mom's kitchen. Mom, I've given this a lot of thought. And what I really want to do is to go to China, study Chinese, and reconnect with my roots. She looked at me, then in her own caring way, Dinah, at your age, forget about it. At the time, I was 58. Of course I went. It's never too late. What started out to be a year or so turned into a decade of speaking the language and connecting with the people. A decade that was, for me, a life-changing experience. And now, at age 72, I am following yet another dream. Writing my first book, Daring to Dream, once again. Tonight, I'm sharing my story with you, not because I'm special, because I'm not, but because it is my deep desire for you to follow your dream and to tell yourself it's never too late.